Tensions are obviously building between Russia and President Trump, and eyes are on U.S. airspace now. Russia just buzzed with 4 military planes an area around Alaska. And this isn't the first time, it's just with a new backdrop. President Trump putting massive pressure on Putin to stop his war against Ukraine. Senator Dan Sullivan of the great state of Alaska says it is time for President Trump's Golden Dome.
Our country should use and build on this technology that we've already developed to develop our own missile defense system against similar threats. In short, we need to build the Golden Dome for America.
That missile defense plan is taking shape as the president's war of words with Russia heats up. Senator Sullivan and Focus next.
I'm not so interested in talking anymore. He talks, we have such nice conversations, such respectful and nice conversations, and then people die the following night with a missile going into a town. Russia could be so rich right now. Instead, they spend all their money on war. They spend everything on war and killing people, and it doesn't make sense to me.
And then he got tough. President Trump severely shortened the time Russian President Vladimir Putin has to agree to a ceasefire. Putin's been at war with Ukraine for more than 3 years. Russia is now showing up in the Arctic again and again and again, flying close to our state of Alaska. And just this week, they were caught dangerously close to the coastline of Alaska. 4 military planes. NORAD is saying, look, you got to pay attention to this. We detected these people close to the coast. It's the latest in the growing list of incidents testing America's response in the Arctic. On September 23rd of last year, NORAD released a video showing a Russian fighter jet flying dangerously close to U.S. aircraft. Both Russia and China regularly are conducting joint missions near Alaska, and it is fueling the Trump administration's push for a Golden Dome to protect our homeland. Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich says President Trump is the man for this moment.
I think he reluctantly concluded that the only thing Putin will respect is overwhelming strength. And frankly, if you need overwhelming strength, Donald Trump's a pretty good guy to have as your president.
Alaska Senator Dan Sullivan, member of the Armed Services Committee, is with me now. Senator, first of all, just give us the lay of the land now. How close were they? This has happened, I think, north of 5 times now.
Oh, yeah, Harris. By the way, thank you so much for highlighting these incursions, both into our airspace in Alaska and into our waters, into our oceans, our EEZ, as we call it. The Russians have been very aggressive. Billy Mitchell, the father of the U.S. Air Force, called Alaska the most strategic place in the world. Well, our adversaries know that, which is why they're testing us up there. And we've even had joint Russian naval task forces in our waters and joint Russian strategic bomber task forces in our airspace, and our AIDAs, as we call it. And, our professional military based in Alaska, they do a great job. They go intercept the Russians and the Chinese every time they're up there. By the way, these are not easy missions. These are tough missions.
Right.
They do it professionally. They just did it last week again. So this is why we're going to build up more Alaska military. In the one big, beautiful bill, we got more infrastructure for Arctic military operations. But there's a lot going on in my neck of the woods, and I'm really glad you report on it. If this were going on the East Coast of America, boy, oh boy, the media would be doing stories on it every day. But you continue to highlight it, and I thank you for that.
Absolutely. And it's important in all ways. My father was based at one point up in Juneau. Look, let's talk about what it takes, though, in the meantime, before we get to the Golden Dome. I know you have a high number of veterans there, U.S. military veterans, and so you've got some leadership, some people you can at least lean on in terms of consulting. If anything happens up there, I mean, our guys, our men and women have to show so much restraint because they don't want to start anything either, but we have to push back against Russia.
Oh, absolutely. Alaska, you mentioned it. We have more veterans per capita than any state in the country. We're also a strongly armed citizenry. We believe in the Second Amendment quite a lot up in my great state. So, look, Alaskans are strong, we're resilient, but we keep an eye on this. And again, our Alaska-based military does a great job. Whenever these incursions happen, they intercept these Russian or Chinese strategic bombers or naval assets coming into our waters. So we're ready. We're building up our military. As I mentioned, the One Big Beautiful Bill is looking at Arctic basing that we need more of, and the president and his team have been really good in this regard.
And you bring up President Trump. I mean, I know that he's got his eye on this as well, especially with all the pressure that he's putting on Russian President Putin to end the war against Ukraine. Look, Senator, you and some of your colleagues introduced legislation earlier this summer to build a so-called Golden Dome. It authorizes more than $23 billion to begin developing a modernized layered homeland missile system, defense system, that can counter, detect, track, and defeat existing and evolving threats. It is in line with President Trump's vision. Let's watch together.
We're going to modernize and remodernize our military, including building a great Golden Dome all over our land. It's designed for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space.
So where is this project right now?
Well, look, I want to commend President Trump for his leadership and vision. You know, Harris, he's been talking about missile defense since his first term. He's been leading on this. The Golden Dome vision is completely President Trump's. We're making great progress on it because we have some key things that you need for progress in D.C. You have presidential leadership, which is what we have. We have significant funding. The One Big Beautiful Bill had a down payment of $25 billion to build out the Golden Dome. You have my legislation with Senator Kramer, which is authorizing legislation to put this initiative into law. I think a lot of that's going to pass in the defense bill coming up soon. So those are key elements. And as the president said, we already have a strong defense system in terms of missile defense. By the way, it's almost all based in Alaska, another reason why we're so strategic. But we're going to build on that. We're going to make a layered system that includes, as the president said, space-based sensors, space-based interceptors in open architecture so we can integrate these different systems. And we're off to the races on this. By the way, we're the only country in the world that can do this. We have the technology. We have the ability with a great military and now with presidential leadership. That's why Russia and China are so scared of this. And I think when they speak out against it, it shows that we're on target.
Well, that answered my next question. Why do they care so much? Because they can't do it. Only we can. Senator Sullivan, thank you very much for not just the update. I mean, this is happening on so much more of a regular basis. It is breaking news when our citizens are that close to an enemy. So thank you for being with me today with all the new information.
Thank you, Harris, and thanks for covering this. Again, you're the one person out there always calling attention to it, and in Alaska in particular, we appreciate that.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you.